Hi, this is Dr. Lisa Olson, physician and founder of Smart Weight Loss Coaching. I'd like to briefly say thank you so much to our regular listeners who follow the show and tune in every week. My team and I are incredibly grateful that you take the time to listen in and also to share our show with those you care about. Truly, thank you. Also, if you're serious about wanting to lose weight, I'd love to see you increase your engagement with our podcast workbook. The workbook goes along with episodes number 1 through 50 and propels you to take action to create habits that will help you lose weight and transform your health. It's available through our website at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Today, we're going to talk about using labels to drive weight loss. I used to have a label for myself that went something like this. I can never stop at one. One what, you might ask? One anything. One cookie, one bowl of ice cream, one glass of wine, one bowl of cereal, one pastry, one lemon bar. Once I got a taste of something delicious, I always desired more. And that was doubly true for sweets. It's not that I think we have to limit ourselves to one French fry or something extreme like that. I reject the concept of restricting and making certain foods forbidden, but there is value in moderation, and I held a strong belief that I was incapable of it. Sometimes out to dinner with my family, I'd order a meal without French fries, wanting to make the healthy choice. Then my kids wouldn't finish their fries, and I'd tell myself, I'll just have one. But because I assigned myself the label, I can never stop at one, I never did. We can use labels to help us in all areas of life, not just for health or weight loss. A lot of research on positive language comes from studying students. In one study, a total of 212 kids, ages 9 to 13, completed a standardized math test that was divided into 2 parts. At the end of the first half of the test, researchers asked some kids to talk to themselves about the amount of effort they would put into the second half of the test. The children quietly told themselves, I will do my very best. Isn't that sweet? I love that assignment. I will do my very best. Another group was told to consider their innate ability by repeating the phrase, I'm very good at this. Got it? I'm very good at this. There was also a control group that was not told to do any self-coaching. They simply took the first part of the test, took a break, then took the second part. The researchers discovered that children with low self-confidence can improve their performance through self-talk that's focused on effort. This is a self-regulation strategy that we can do for ourselves every day too. One of the authors of this study, Eddie Brummelman, an assistant professor of child development at the University of Amsterdam, commented, our study found that the math performance of children with low self-confidence benefits when they tell themselves that they will make an effort. We didn't find the same result among children with low self-confidence who spoke to themselves about ability. Self-talk about effort is the key. Other studies looking at different kinds of praise have shown that telling children they are smart encourages a fixed mindset. Kids think they're either smart or they're not. They're good at something or they're not. They don't see it as changeable. They don't believe obstacles are figure outable or that practice matters. On the other hand, praising hard work and effort cultivates a growth mindset. And when students have a growth mindset, they take on challenges and learn from them, therefore increasing their abilities and achievements. They aren't afraid to try something and fail. This is relevant to us when we talk about weight loss and habit change. Let's circle back to labels. If a person tells herself she's willing to try or she's good at figuring things out, she's more likely to do so. Or if a person tells herself she's always had a sweet tooth and that's just who she is, she's got a fixed mindset. And guess what? She probably will always have a sweet tooth. That is until she understands the value of choosing a new label. At the Mayo Clinic, they teach about the value of positive labels right alongside the science of carbohydrate metabolism. Why? Because the science around labels and mindset can change lives. This is real science. When we assign ourselves a negative label like, I'll always have a sweet tooth, or I can never have just one, we predetermine our destiny. The good news is that labels can be changed and a fixed mindset can be transformed into a growth mindset with effort and practice. These changes don't happen overnight, of course, and that's fine. I'm in it for the long game. I'm trying to manage my weight and live healthy to 100. There's no rush here. In our Smart Weight Loss Coaching group program, we talk about practicing all of the time. For example, I'm someone who's practicing saving ice cream for a weekend treat with my kids, or I'm practicing getting up early to walk before work. Occasionally, someone tells me that the word practice feels like a cop-out, like they're letting themselves off the hook. Okay, no sweat. If that doesn't work for you, how about a more direct label? I don't eat dessert during the week. Here's the interesting thing about labels like that. They don't have to be true when you first use them. They can be aspirational. When I caught myself drinking wine every night during the early days of the COVID pandemic, I freaked out for a hot second, and then I decided to use a label to turn things around. I started with this. I'm someone who only drinks wine on the weekends. Was that true? Actually, no, it wasn't true at the time. We were basically doing puzzles, playing board games, and drinking wine every evening in the spring of 2020. There wasn't much else going on. So when I decided to use the label, I'm someone who only drinks wine on the weekends, it helped me to have a clear response when my husband offered me a glass of wine with dinner on a random Tuesday. To him, I might say, no thanks, but inside my head, I was thinking, no thanks, because I'm someone who only drinks wine on the weekends. How long did it take before my new label was true? Let's just say it took a while, but eventually it did become true, with the occasional planned exception here and there once the world opened up again and we started socializing. What happened if I forgot to pull out my label, or if I just wanted that glass of wine on a Tuesday and I had it? It's a good time to be patient and use my favorite saying, no sweat, reset. That happened because I'm human. I'm not perfect, and that's okay. I just kept practicing my new label again and again until eventually I didn't need to practice it anymore because it simply became true. Putting in the practice and the effort worked. The concept of choosing a label works for so many things. If you're working on a budget to get out of debt, it might help to choose a label like, I'm someone who doesn't spend what I don't have. Or perhaps something like, I'm good at managing my money. I'm telling you right now that you can give yourself that label while you're practicing being better about managing your money. The label police are not expecting perfection here, just attention to the label and effort. If you're striving to create an exercise habit, you might choose a label like this. I'm someone who exercises every day. Or I'm someone who's putting in the effort to become a regular exerciser. Then when you wake up early, take a look at the sneakers you laid out the night before and think, nope, I'm not in the mood. You can simply reach for your label. I'm someone who exercises every day. I am. That's just who I am. And hopefully, off you go. So, how about you? Who do you aspire to be? Are you going to tell yourself you're someone who has an intractable sweet tooth? That you've always found it impossible to say no to salty, crunchy foods? Or are you labeling yourself as someone who's uncoordinated and terrible at sports? If so, this is your opportunity to set your MBA. That's your next best action, in case you're new to our podcast. I hope your MBA will be choosing a label that inspires you to put in the effort, a label that invites you to stretch a bit and believe that something more is possible. My newest label is this. It's a little clunky and long, but here it is. I'm a plant-based eater with a little bit of flexibility when it comes to fish, eggs, plain yogurt, and ice cream. Clearly, I'm a realist too. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.